Let's be honest, there are way too many copycats in real estate. In this video, we're looking at unconventional branding strategies. Think Gary Vaynerchuk, Gordon Ramsay, Bill Nye, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. What did they all have in common? Well, by the end of this video, I'll share some advice from the best of the best at what they do. GoPro cameras is probably one of the best examples of niche marketing. When you stop and think, what is niche marketing? Well, when everybody was creating the best, latest, newest, fanciest lens in cameras to compete with the next guy, GoPro said, I'm not going to compete with anybody. I'm going to create a first-person camera that's specifically designed for durability so that people can create action-packed videos that you will have never seen footage like this from anybody else before. Red Bull, as you know, everybody's tried to copy Red Bull, but what you already know is that their brand stands out in terms of now they're known for extreme sports and lifestyle marketing and advertising. And you think of the cartoons that go along with their advertising. Red Bull gives you wings. Tesla, one of my personal favorites. Yes, they are a car manufacturing company, but if you look at what's happened with their stock price or just historically in their company, they are known as a technology innovator thanks to Elon Musk, but they're thinking outside of the box, and because of his brand, it's taken things to a new level when it comes to what can be done with an automotive company. Elon Musk would say that innovation and vision are the cornerstones. Don't be afraid to take risks or think outside the box. Your brand should embody the future that you envision. Remember, it's not just about products, it's about ideas and stories that you're telling. Dare to do what others deem impossible. Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't know Gary V, he transformed his brand from one of being a wine connoisseur with wine library to now he is probably the best known social media influencer online when it comes to motivational speeches and what you should do to be relevant and to have an impact on social media.
Why am I not scared to make content on TikTok when it's all teenage people, right? Why am I willing to spend a ton of time having a ton of different shit going on, and if something fails, I don't give a fuck?
Gary would say that hustle and authenticity are key. Build your brand by being unapologetically yourself. Engage with your audience relentlessly. Provide massive value and don't be afraid to adapt and evolve. Remember, your personal brand is your reputation. That's a good one. And it is built one interaction at a time. I always say this, well, gee, I only got 70 views on my TikTok video. But if 70 people walked into your office right now, would you be overwhelmed? Yes, you would be. So whoever is watching your content, make sure that you care about that one person, whoever that might be, until you have one more person. Joe Rogan, I love this one because I originally knew him when he was on Fear Factor. I mean, I didn't personally know him, but he's really evolved through now. He's a UFC commentator. He's also a comedian. And now he's probably one of, if not the biggest podcasts around today. And he has somewhat controversial ideas, but it's all about real talk on Joe Rogan's podcast. Joe Rogan would say, be genuine and have real conversations. Your brand should be a platform for exploring diverse ideas without fear. Stay open-minded and listen as much as you speak. Authenticity resonates with people more than polished scripts. Bill Nye, I love this one because it's one of the originals. I grew up in the 90s and Bill Nye was a popular TV show back then, and I remember when the teachers would put on science-related film in classroom, Bill Nye was the only thing that I actually enjoyed watching and listening to because he added a creative spin and a creative approach to learning visually, adding entertainment like sound effects and video editing.
Plants! You ready?
And different explanations using analogies. He is an absolute master when it comes to education and entertainment. Bill Nye would say education and entertainment can be powerful tools. Use them wisely in building your brand. Stay curious and keep learning. Your enthusiasm and knowledge can be infectious, inspiring others. Communicate complex ideas in simple, engaging ways. One of the things I really love about Bill Nye is that he is still relevant today. If you go search him online and see what he's up to, he still has a lot of really great great content and ideas that he's continually working on today, even though he's been around for decades now. Gordon Ramsay, I still remember when he first hit the scene, and yeah, he's a little outlandish in how he comes across, but I think he also comes by it honestly. That's just his general personality. But he does blend being straight to the point, being upfront with people, being direct, getting things done quickly, but also being passionate with how he communicates his message, and people respect him for that. Gordon Ramsay would say that passion and perfection go hand in hand. Don't settle for mediocrity in your brand. Be brutally honest with yourself and your audience. Consistency in quality and character will set you apart. Remember, your brand is a reflection of your standards. Gary Vee said it really well, guys. If you don't intentionally create your brand, your reputation will create it for you. The question I have for you is that good or is that bad? It's not what you want to be, but who you want to be when you're planning what your personal brand is. Let's look at some examples that real estate agents often fall into, and then let's use some examples of celebrities that might represent accurately what I'm referring to here. So the conspiracy theorist, do you really want to be the Alex Jones of real estate? Let's be honest. You go down the rabbit hole of what's happening in the market, the doom and gloom, or whatever it may be. The tech whiz agent. I like to use Ryan Reynolds as an example on this because he is on the front very well known for his acting career, but on the back end, I think that I did some research and found, I think he made $330 million on Mint Mobile. And generally speaking, he's very well known for being an early adopter of new technologies, which is a really cool, unique idea. And I feel that it is part of his brand as he's grown throughout his career. The cutthroat competitor. If this is not all too common in real estate, a really great example of this is Ray Kroc. Now, yes, he is one of the, if not the most successful franchisors of all time. But if you look at what he did along his career, I personally believe that he could have had the same success with how he went about what he did without being so ruthless. And at the end of the day, money is one part of success, but it's only one part of success. So what do you want to be known for, and who do you want to be as you go about what you do? And can you do it and still have good character at the end of the day? The outlandish promoter. I like to use Don King as an example because if you look at Mike Tyson's success as an example, he went from one fight to the next, to the next, to the next at the peak of his career. And I find it so motivational to look at all of those knockouts and all of those highlights. But who was it that came into the ring after Mike Tyson was finished knocking somebody out to promote the next fight and to sell tickets for twice the dollar volume that what was happened before that? And Don King is the one who made the same amount, if not more money than Mike Tyson, and continues to make money on top of what Mike Tyson did. Even though Mike Tyson was the one taking the punches, Don King was the one making it rain in terms of dollars and cents. The celebrity agent. I was going to say Ryan Seacrest, if you know who he is. I think we all do. But what about Ryan Serhant? He is the celebrity real estate agent. If you don't already know, he's probably the most famous real estate agent on the planet. The anti-agent. I know some people like to brand themselves as the average person so that they don't want to appear the same as every other agent. I'm just a regular person. And I think Dave Chappelle is an accurate representation of this. He went against the grain a little bit when his career didn't seem to be going in a path that he wanted it to, and he just basically dropped Hollywood altogether for a very long period of time and came back to become the greatest of all time, in my personal opinion, but I think most people would agree with me on that. And he doesn't follow the limelight. He comes in, he does his thing, he does it the best of his ability, he's in it for the love of the art, and he basically checks out when he's done. See you guys later. Love Dave Chappelle. The activist agent. Leonardo DiCaprio, as you know, is very well known for his movements towards eco-friendly, global warming, etc., etc. You should watch, if you haven't already, that movie Don't Look Up. I think is a very interesting perspective on current events. The luxury only brand. You see agents that are luxury agents, but I really like Tom Ford. When you look at his career, you see that he transformed Gucci before he launched his own personal brand. The social media maven. Well, we can't all be Kim Kardashian, but you do see agents that try to follow that same persona. persona. The hyper-local specialist. I did some digging to find somebody that would accurately portray this or reflect this, and I stumbled upon Erin Brokovich. If you haven't seen this movie, basically she was an advocate and supporter of people in the local community. And if you watch the movie, you will find out that because of her successes, not only did she succeed financially in her area, in her industry, but she's also well known now around the world for what she did to make an impact on those people's lives. And it just continued to unfold as things went by. The gimmick branding. Do you guys remember the pet rock? That's probably the perfect example of a gimmick. Now, yes, that splash marketing, as I would call it, was successful for a moment, but it was a one-hit wonder. I mean, is it something that is an evergreen strategy or an evergreen campaign that continues to pay day after day, month after month, year after year? Or is it just, come and gone again? Keep that in mind. The no BS brand. Simon Cowell is probably the perfect example of this, as he is so blunt and upfront with people, but everybody knows that he's going to be upfront with you. He's going to tell you the truth. And agents will brand themselves this way and say, if you want the truth, come to me, because there's so many agents that will just promise the world, and then you hire them and then you don't get what they promised when you originally talked to them. Sold by sexy approach. You will see some agents that will sort of present themselves in a way that makes you wonder, are you a Victoria's Secret model or are you a real estate agent? I know that sex sells, but let's be honest. Debunking branding myths. Just be yourself. This advice can be misleading and it can be bad because nobody wants to hear your sob story unless you can prove how the challenges that you've had along the way have built you and have built your character and have had you as the character in that story come out on top with a triumphant success. If they can see themselves in it and they feel like you've become a success, you're winning with that strategy. But only if. Myth number 2, consistency is king. Yes, this is true, but if you don't evolve and change with your brand over time, again, your reputation can often be your brand, so like it or not, it will change over time regardless of whether or not you are intentional. So you might as well follow what's happening in the market and make sure that you are ahead of the curve. Myth number 3, focus on your strengths. Now, yes, you need to do this, but it's when you really do become vulnerable with people that you establish trust in communicating with them. And the same thing goes to building your own personal brand. If you're only posting the best you and the best of the best all the time on social media, people will feel distant from that because they can't relate to you. Now, that doesn't mean, like I said, you have to tell your sob story, but you do need to be able to open up well enough so that people can see you as who you really are. You do need to embrace your quirks. What makes you great is the reason people want to work with you. People might be able to take your ideas and copy them, but nobody else can be you to the same way that you can be you. And even if you are that person that is following the strategy people say, which is rip off and duplicate, it only works well for you if you can be creative enough to put your own personal spin on it so that people see how you are unique and original. And with that strategy in general, you're not just ripping off one piece and duplicating it. You might be learning from all of the best in the industry, and you take a little bit and a little piece of each person along the way as you learn, and you put it all together and make it your own karate warrior, Jedi warrior, so that when you go out in the marketplace, you have your own personal spin on all of the people that you've learned from over the course of your career. Being controversial. Now, yes, you need to personally stand for something so that you don't just become a yes man out there in the marketplace, but beware how polarizing your stand can be when it comes to politics, especially when you're building your business from scratch. If you have a database of 400 people and you're promoting to them online, keep in mind that 25% of your audience, maybe 50% of your audience don't have the same view as you. And if you piss them off, they might not want to do business with you. Now, on the flip side of that coin, people do say that your vibe attracts your tribe, which is also true. So you have to look at economies of scale when you apply that approach, because it does work well in your favor as things in your business continue to scale. Because when you find more people that are like you, then you can find more people that are like you and you can quantify and quadruple your business. But when you're starting out, you do have to make sure that you don't alienate yourself from half of your audience, if that makes sense. And you do have to have a good mix of personal and business. Who are you as a father? Who are you as a brother? Who are you as a dad, as a husband, as a family person? What do you do outside of work? And when you share other sides of you, people with similar interests will relate to you. And I hope you found some value in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, look me up on Instagram, and I look forward to seeing you on this video next.